A new tourist tax on Airbnb and hotel stays, plus a rent rise freeze, are all being considered by the Victorian state government. The state's premier says they could be part of the biggest shake-up in Victorian housing policy, but landlords say extra levies and regulations will only worsen the housing crisis.
Having a place to call home is getting harder in Victoria, but the Premier promises change is on the horizon.
Housing, housing and more housing.
Among a raft of potential reforms, a new tourism tax, specifically a $5 levy on Airbnb and hotel bookings, with the revenue raised funnelled into affordable housing projects.
One of the biggest shake-ups in terms of delivering more housing choices and options that our state has ever seen.
Airbnb likes the idea.
Airbnb does support a sustainable visitor levy. It'd be about the same price as a cup of coffee. We have seen it work very well in other parts of the world.
So what did those flying into Melbourne Airport think?
Well, it's hardly a way to promote tourism, is it? I mean, that's a ridiculous thing to do.
Pretty expensive to come on a holiday here anyway. But yeah, like if it goes for a good cause, maybe.
Also on the table, rental price caps. Currently, for most tenants, rent can be increased once every 12 months. Under the new proposal, landlords would be permitted to hike the rent only once every 2 years.
Which seems to be a desperate attempt by the Andrews government this weekend to distract Victorians from the Commonwealth Games debacle. This is policy on the run. 30-year-old James is a rental tenant and a landlord. The rent on his Chadstone townhouse is jumping by an unaffordable $125 a week, so he's moving back into his modest investment property.
All it does is it scores political points in the short term.
He's not convinced rent freezes will solve the wider housing crisis.
All it does is scores political points in the short term.
The potential rental reforms and tourism tax are for now just under consideration, but the state government is certainly building towards making a major housing policy announcement soon.
Well, I won't put a date on it because getting it right is much more important than doing it in haste.